Hey everyone, welcome back to BDG Reviews. It's night 16 of 31 Days of Horror. What I've got for you tonight is a review of Terrifier 3. Now, I just went and saw this today. I've said before, I'm recording these a bit in advance, so it's actually, the 11th today, so, I haven't had a chance to watch anybody else's reviews or whatever. So, this is just my thoughts on Terrifier 3. So before we even get started, let's address the elephant in the room. Is this movie like as they're saying, like, oh, people are getting, like, so shocked, and it's, like, so graphic and, like, horrifying and everything, people are walking out of the cinemas because it's that bad? No, it's not. Does it get close, though? Yeah, it kind of does, I gotta say. This movie essentially takes what happens in Terrifier 2, that level of gore, that level of, like, atrocity and everything, and just kind of turns it up a notch. And these people that are making the Terrifier movies, they get it. They get exactly what it is, horror fans want. What do you have? You have a lot of gore, you have inventive kills, you have a killer who is just kind of awesome, you have, like, supernatural shit, you have everything you want is in this movie. Also, I didn't think it was possible to be more mean-spirited than Terrifier 2. Terrifier 3 is like, here, hold my beer. This is so much more mean-spirited than the last one. And honestly, I'm a little shocked at how mean-spirited it is. I mean, let's just say this. The opening of this movie, do I want to give it away? You know what, maybe, yeah, you do. I do. It's the opening. Literally, you'll see it in the first 10 minutes. This little girl, it's at Christmas, she wakes up and she goes in and, like, tells, like, her mother or whatever. It's like, oh, there's somebody on the roof. Oh, like, oh, it must be Santa Claus or whatever. And he takes her back to bed or whatever. She sneaks down. She sees someone in the house. It's Art the Clown, who proceeds to pull an axe out of his bag, then go up the stairs and go into her brother's room. At which time you hear a lot of noise, and then he comes out, holding the axe, it's got blood on the axe, goes into the parents' room, completely decimates the father. The mother wakes up, she runs into the kid's room. Her daughter's not there, so she runs into the son's room. He's in pieces, literally scattered across the room. This is like a kid who's, like, I don't know what, maybe 10 years old, and he's been literally scattered all over the room. There are pieces of him all over the place. It doesn't hold back. I've always said, if a movie is willing to kill the kids, you're in the hands of a madman, and you're going to get something, like, beyond what you're expecting. And that's definitely something that Terrifier 3 does. The plot of this movie. I just mentioned, obviously it takes place at Christmas. This is 5 years after the events of Terrifier 2. So at the end of Terrifier 2, deformed face woman gives birth to Art the Clown's head. You see more of that scene. You see what goes on. You see how Chris Jericho's character fares. It's not good for him. And then essentially, Art and, I don't even know what her name is. I think it was Victoria or Veronica, something like that. They go off together. And then cut to 5 years later. And you see kind of what they've been doing that whole time, which is nothing. They've been literally static that entire time. So much so, Art the Clown is sat in a rocking chair, and he's got cobwebs all over him because he's been sitting for 5 years without having done anything. And some people come in and, essentially wake him up. And chaos ensues. Our main character from the first movie, in the second movie, Sienna, she's been in, places for, mental health, and, obviously, that type of shit is gonna leave you scarred, and it, in more ways than one, and it definitely does. She's still seeing, apparition type things. You don't know if it's in her head, or if it's, if she's actually seeing it. She sees one of her friends who got killed in part 2, and, she's come back to live with her sister and her sister's husband and their kid, and she starts seeing Art the Clown around places. And the question is, is it real? Is it not? We know it's real. Then we get one of the most batshit insane scenes I've ever seen put on film, and that's, I'm just going to say, the mall scene. I'm not going to go into spoilers. If you've seen it, you know. Art the Clown is there, dressed as Santa, giving out presents to all the little kids. Just leave it at that. Yeah. Art the Clown is one twisted dude. Always has been, and I just love the fact that he's as twisted as he is. No one is safe in this movie. Characters that you would assume are would survive don't necessarily survive. Characters that you assume are pretty much inconsequential end up getting elaborate death scenes that are damn cool. This also has a bunch of shout-outs to other movies. There's a scene in it that's a reference to The Shining. You see that right at the beginning. There's a reference to Psycho, a really good version of, let's just say, the director did an interview where he was saying about the Psycho shower scene, and he said, if it was to be done today, you'd have to show more and everything. So, essentially, that's what you got. And they show more. Just saying. I'm just saying it lives up to, Pieces level kind of cruelty and violence. Great shit. There's a reference to Texas Chainsaw, which, I'll say Texas Chainsaw 2. All in all, though, phenomenal movie. This is one of those movies that's getting a dual rating from me. It's getting a rating for the Gorehounds, and it's getting a rating for the normies. For the Gorehounds, this is a 10 out of 10. You know what you're getting when you go to a Terrifier movie, and you won't be disappointed by this. For the normies, this is a 7. I mean, this isn't for everybody. If you think the scariest movie you've ever seen is like Smile or something like that, you'd be in for a rude awakening with Terrifier 3. So it's not for everybody. But if you know what you're getting into, you know what you're getting into. I'm just going to leave it at that. So yeah, that's my review. Hopefully you enjoyed it. As of filming this, tomorrow I'm going to see Nightmare on Elm Street in the theater for the first time, so that will be my next video, the theatrical experience of seeing Nightmare on Elm Street. But yeah, that's it for me. See you tomorrow.